Sleepwalking has been a phenomenon not known to many, but only a few have experienced it to tell the tale. Sleepwalkers do much of the same things that non-sleepwalkers do, except that they do it while they are asleep. These folks are caught between two stages of sleeping, which is why they do things that would be pretty normal during the day. Today, Purple Hippo brings you 10 unbelievable things people have done sleepwalking. These may appear weird, and number 1 is pretty freaky. If you're interested in things that someone could do while sleepwalking, make sure to watch until the end. While you're at it, make sure to subscribe to Purple Hippo for more awesome content. At number 10, we have the scariest possible thing you could imagine someone would do while sleepwalking. You guessed it right, it's murder. In 1987, Canadian local Kenneth was under fire for he faced trial for murder of his mother-in-law and attempted murder of his father-in-law. Jailed for stabbing his mother-in-law with an iron rod and choking his father-in-law, he handled himself in. Strangely, in 1989, all charges were dropped and he walked out the courthouse as the defense testified that he suffered from a medical condition called somnambulism, which causes him to sleepwalk. Now that's a medical condition that could put you in a pickle. At number 9, we have the one who sleepwalked to his own death, Timothy Brueggeman. After suffering from insomnia for years at a stretch, Timothy finally took some medication with recommendation from a doctor. In 2009, Timothy reportedly went missing as his son called in the police. They found footprints leading down to a 190-yard trail down his house. The authorities eventually found him frozen to death as he walked this distance barefoot in a temperature of negative 26 degrees Celsius. Among family and friends, he was known for sleepwalking. At number 8, we have the curious case of a 77-year-old man who found himself walking up knee-deep in water lurking with dangerous alligators. This wasn't the worst of it yet. His legs were stuck in the mud and he couldn't move. This habitual sleepwalker tried his best to keep the beast away using his cane, but after a while had to resort to screaming. Soon, neighbors heard him and called in the authorities for a lucky rescue, with only a few scratches to his legs. Now that's a nightmare come true, isn't it? Number 7 on our list, we have the girl who climbed a crane. Folks, this girl has been as lucky as they get. Found awake on a 130-foot high crane, this 15-year-old girl was initially mistaken as a potential active suicide until firefighters eventually discovered that she was actually fast asleep on the crane and had no idea what she was doing there. This followed a 2-hour rescue during which her parents were contacted to wake her up without causing her much panic. At number 6, we have the girl who had sex with strangers. This may seem like a normal behavior, but this married woman suffered from a rare form of somnambulism where she would sleepwalk to places and bring men back home having sex with them completely unaware of this situation. Used condoms appeared around the couple's apartment and caused them such distress. The husband soon figured out the issue by following her, and she was given medication for the condition to improve things. At number 5, we have a 9-year-old boy who fell from his parents' 4th-floor apartment window and hit the ground. His name is Stuart Miller. He survived the crash and now bound to a wheelchair. The owners of the apartment were taken to the court for windows not being properly child secure. They admitted their fault and settled at a $2.1 million. At number 4, we have a criminal act committed under the influence of sleep. This 33-year-old truck driver, Alan Ball, was found in a bed of a 12-year-old girl he had kissed. He had been heavily drinking at a New Year's party. Later, he was acquitted of sexual assault on the basis of sleepwalking after consultation with doctors. His life changed forever, and he has lost custody of his 5-year-old daughter and was left to the fringes of society. At number 3, we have the woman who took the 50 fall foot down the hotel in Spain in 2014. with absolutely no history of sleepwalking. She woke up in the intensive care with her mom and dad, and that's all she remembers. And number 2, we have a woman in Massachusetts who assumed to be sleepwalking the subway station. When a cameraman footage has captured her falling into the lower tracks of the subway, she had fallen asleep on the nearby bench and remembers nothing of the incident except waking up in the electric rails and screaming for help. At number 1, we have the violent sleepwalker who strangled his 4-year-old son and then tried to strangle his other 2 children as well. Later, his ex-wife during the trial announced that there would finally be justice to his violent streak. However, Joseph Mitchell got to leave the courtroom on the basis of sleepwalking verdict, even though the psychologist had testified that in an in-depth interview with the perpetrator, there seemed no underlying condition that would have caused him to be unconscious and that the murder seemed planned. Sleepwalking seems way more complex than you thought, didn't it? Have you experienced sleepwalking or known anyone who did? Leave a comment below. And if you like this video, make sure to share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to Purple Hippo and ring that bell icon for more amazing videos. Until next time, folks.